level across the top. So the Glock 19 Gen 5 showcases the latest technology that drives Glock's pursuit of perfection. We're going to be the judge of that. What's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Hexshot and thank you guys for joining us for our review on the much anticipated brand new Gen 5 Glock. We made a video last year talking about a new Gen 5 Glock possibly in the works. They released a couple of 4.5 models, if you will, with some different things, and now we have the Gen 5. So we're going to talk about everything out of the box. We're of course going to show you how it shot, how it did, pros and cons. We have a new section, just an opinion after pros and cons and everything on the Glock. So stick around. If you guys enjoy our videos, make sure you keep subscribing. We're trying to push that 50,000 because we have a huge giveaway we're doing at 50K. So you guys keep supporting us, and we appreciate all of you guys. So let's go ahead and show you what it comes with out of the box, Gen 5. Hopefully you guys are ready for this. Holy crap, it looks just like every other Glock. No, all right, so they have done some changes, and of course we're going to talk about that first. What does it come with? 3 15-round magazines. I only have 2 out here, but it does come with 3. New orange follower there. You have your excuse me, cleaning brush with your rod, pretty standard. Manual right there. You have an assist loader, all right, and then you have your different sets of back straps with your little punch tool right there, so you can punch the pin out and change the back straps how you see accordingly. So let's go ahead and pull it out of the box. Pretty standard there. All right, so going around the gun, let's talk about the new features here first. You have the marksman's barrel, the NDLC finish, which I think is a good move. I don't have a lot of experience with this finish yet, but compared to the Gen 4s, which I did not like at all, that seems to be a good move. We'll find out in the future though. They also added your ambidextrous slide stop now. All right, so lefties, that is a very good thing. No finger grooves. So this is something that a lot of people hate about the Glock. They'll go through, they'll change the frame and all of that. Now you don't have that to worry about. As far as the way that feels good. I prefer that, and honestly, it feels good. They flared the magwell here. Not only did they flare it in here, they made this little cutout right here. One thing you'll notice from the Gen 4 to the Gen 5 Glock 19 mags, which we have right here, is they kind of did a little curve up kind of to meet the frame. So this has more of a flat. This one just curves up a little bit. They still work in the gun. All right, just looks a little bit different. This one kind of looks more rounded off and you know, kind of like it fits the gun, I guess you can say. On their website, they mentioned 20 different changes that they've made to this gun. Those are the main ones that I see. Internally, not sure what they might have done to get to 20, but those are the big changes. Now you do have different sight options on this one. No, it does not come with regular 3-dot sights. It still comes with the drop in the bucket type of Glock sights. But you do have the Glock night sight option, and then you have the bold sight option, which is basically an Ameriglow type of sight. Really bright front sight, blacked out in the rear. So let's go ahead and talk about the specs. Overall length, 7.28 inches. Height is 5.04 inches. Width is 1.34 inches. And the barrel length, 4.0, just say 4 inches long. Unloaded weight is 23.99 ounces, and the trigger is estimated to be at 5.5 pounds. Overall, it's actually a little bit bigger and a little bit wider than the Gen 4 version, which was honestly a little bit surprising. So as far as width, it's just a little bit wider per Glock specs. All right, it's also supposed to be a little bit taller. Let's check that out here. Keep in mind, I do have the high night sights on the Glock, and this isn't a really big dimension. You can see just a hair there. So considering the sight height, you know, and how they're a little bit taller, that pretty much stands in line. They're pretty much the same length, just a little bit right there. So all the way around, a little bit more weight, a a little bit longer as far as the height, a little bit taller, I should say. You know, not much different at all. Same pick rail, same type of trigger setup and all of that. Of course, you do have your Gen 4 style magazine release, and it is reversible. All right, so now what doesn't it have that I feel a lot of people may want? These aren't necessarily all the things I want, but just going off of what people change on Glocks. First, front slide serrations. Okay, a standard 3-dot setup. That's definitely something I want. Ambidextrous magazine release. It is reversible, and now lefties have the slide stop on this side, so that's neither here nor there, but it is something that a lot of people may have wanted. A standard pick rail. Most of your attachments are designed to work with Glock as well, so it's not a big deal, but also a more aggressive texturing. It has these little square type of pyramid deal going on, so the Glock stippling world will still be doing a lot of work with these, I guess you can say. All right, so that's something that hasn't changed as far as the grip texturing, and also extended slide stop controls. This is something that a lot of people that own Glocks will change that because they're so small, so close to the frame. They want to be able to get their thumb up there and actually work the slide better than what it does in the standard configuration. Now, well, of course, we're going to talk about innovation. We're going to talk about lack thereof. But let's get through the video, and then we will, of course, get to that. Breakdown is pretty much the same. Make sure you're clear. Pull the trigger. All right. Cheat back on the slide. Pull down on your tabs right here. Pull it off the frame. You still have a dual captive recoil spring. All right. Polymer. And then your barrel. All right. Other than that, and of course we're going to compare the Gen 4 and the Gen 5, but just to give you kind of an idea, this is the MOS version 2. That's why I don't have the cover plate on there right now. But other than that, what I've seen, just by looking at this now, your striker block is a little bit different. And then on the inside of the frames, let's check that out, look pretty dang similar. So as far as 20 changes to the platform, it's really got to be something that I'm not seeing here, because they look similar. So there you go. Like I said, we'll compare the two in a future video. Just wanted to give you guys an idea of what it looks like there. So let's go ahead and put this back in. Of course, the one question that I might get, does the Gen 5 slide go on the Gen 4 frame? Let's give that a shot. And it seems to work just fine. All right, so we'll take this back apart. Magazines are interchangeable. I have noticed that. Obviously, we tried it with the regular Gen 4 mags, and those work just fine. 33 round option works just fine, and it locks the slide back. So of course, that's one of the big benefits of Glock. All your magazines are going to work, you know, between the different generations. All right, so the new Gen 5 Glock, we talk about all the changes they made, what they did not make, all the specs, breakdown, all that. Let's get to some shooting. Let's show you how it did there, and then we will get back to you guys. We'll talk about pros and cons and our overall opinion on the new Gen 5 Glock. We'll be right back with you guys. right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. As you can see, the gun did fine. To me, it did really well. It felt like a normal Glock, besides a few little changes here that we'll talk about here in a second. One thing I didn't notice as well, one of those changes was also the bevel here in the front of the slide. When you compare that to the Gen 4, you can see that's going to make holstering a little bit easier and all that. So that was one of those changes that we noticed. All right, let's show you guys the trigger and the weight here really quick. As far as the pull on the trigger, you of course have that safety dingish right there. You hit the wall, a little bit of creep, and it breaks. Reset right there. And a little bit creep. This one seems to have a little bit more creep than my Gen 4, but I've obviously put more rounds to it, so over time it'll probably smooth out a little bit, but you do have that little bit of creep in the trigger. Let's check the weight on it. Glock estimates it at around 5.5 pounds. Let's see, 5 pounds even. Let's try it again. 5 pounds 2 ounces. It's definitely a decent trigger. It feels just like a Glock trigger. Nothing's really changed on that end. All right, now let's talk about the pros and cons of the Gen 5 Glock. Pros, first of all, the finger grooves, or the lack thereof. That's definitely a great upgrade. This thing overall was a good shooter, like most Glocks are. Reliable Glock name. You know that you're going to be getting a simple and reliable gun. And the simplicity and the look is something that I actually really like a lot. Interchangeable magazines, that is fantastic, man, because you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of brand new magazines. So something that may be overlooked, but that's definitely a big deal. The magazine options, you have your 15 round, your 17 rounders, your 33 rounders. This is just a great platform. If you're going to be upgrading, you don't have to shell out that extra money, and you have plenty of magazine options available. Size to weight to capacity ratio is unmatched still. Even though it's a little bit heavier, a little bit wider than the Gen 4, you still have one of the lightest and honestly one of the best size guns on the market. It's so versatile for a bunch of applications. People conceal carry them, range, home defense, just a great size overall. What about the cons? One of the biggest ones that I noticed was this little cutout right here. Depending on your hand size, I noticed that the edge of my pinky, or really half of my pinky there, just kind of, it doesn't really get pinched because there's nothing to pinch. It just kind of feels awkward that there's nothing right there and you're kind of on that edge right there. So I don't really like that. I don't really see, the only thing I could think the reason that they did that was so you have this little area right here so you can yank the magazine out if it gets stuck in there. I just think it's a little bit over exaggerated, and I don't really like that at all. No upgrade on the sights. You guys knew that was coming. I just cannot believe they still did not upgrade to a standard set of 3-dot sights. I'm not even talking about night sights or anything like that, just a standard set of 3-dot sights. They still have not upgraded that. The lack of the grip texturing and them not making that a little bit more aggressive. When you start to shoot this gun and you start to pick it up, and then when your hands start sweating especially, you may notice that this slip around a little bit in your hand. Obviously you want to have a good firm grip, and that helps, but it's still not ideal. Not something that I would look forward to on all of my guns, or something that I would do on all of my guns. It does a decent enough job, but when your hands start sweating, it may feel good in a gun shop. You know, you're like, oh, that actually feels comfortable. It's not overly aggressive, but I would like to have something a little bit more aggressive on this gun for sure. So what is our opinion on the new Gen 5 Glock? What they've done in the past, they've done little like 4.5 models. They've done M models. They've done different things, and they've added things that people want. But now when we get, and the reason they add those things is because, you know, we ask for them. That's things that, you know, over time, people want different things. People's needs change. So they've done that, but now we get to the Gen 5 model, and we're still gonna have to buy extended controls. Stippling Glock frames is still gonna be a huge thing, and Glock sight sales are still gonna be booming. Glock is like Apple of the gun world. They make as little changes as possible slap a new number on it and say, here you go guys, our latest and greatest is here. Now don't get me wrong, it's a fine firearm, but so are mostly all Glocks and mostly all guns from other manufacturers that are making striker fired guns. Glocks are tough, reliable guns that provide a minimal approach and will last a long time. But I seriously think the innovative department has left the building, or they just simply don't care. People want these things, and when you come out with a new generation, you would think these things would be on the gun. So many manufacturers have copied the Glock platform, some of them good and some of them bad, but the difference is that other manufacturers at least try different things to actually appeal to these shooters' needs. In my opinion, Glock has just kind of gotten lazy with it. Overall, like I said, it's a good gun, it's a fine gun. If you're looking to upgrade from a Gen 4 to a Gen 5, you don't want to stipple your frame, you don't want to get rid of the finger grooves on your own, maybe you're a left-handed shooter, you want that slide stop, then it might be a good move for you. But I think most people with a Gen 4 or even heck a Gen 3 model are not going to want to spend the extra money just to upgrade for the few things that they've done on the gun. That's just my opinion, of course. I know a lot of you may agree or disagree. I, of course, want to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.